Good evening and welcome to Observe China. Dominion Voting Systems dominates voting machines. It holds a third of the voting machine market. Its software was used in all swing states this year, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Nevada. Massive evidence against Dominion voting software. And its company ties are being revealed according to this tweet. Dominion, but apparently deleted 2.7 million votes nationwide from Trump on November 11. An individual by the handle of Truman Black wrote a script that exposes the voting switches from Trump to Biden. This gained many news outlets' attention. He posted an entire list of all the states who employ the Dominion system. In total, about 500,000 votes were taken from Trump and switched to Biden. And keep in mind, these calculations are not yet verified. However, he did obtain the data from Edison Research, which is used by at least ABC, CBS, CNN, and NBC News, among others. From there, the company's background and strong ties to the Democratic Party was exposed through various media reports. Now, more than one internal employee has come out to expose the voter fraud scheme. Dominion released a statement stating that they have no ties to any Democratic Party senior levels, or they were involved in any voting fraud. But are they really that innocent? Let's take a look at what their first sizes, which is to the Democratic Party. According to the different sources, the company is heavily involved with Nancy Pelosi, former President Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton, and during an interview with Trump, lawyer Sidney Powell, Fox News host Maria Bartiromo mentioned that she had seen reports that California Senator Dianne Feinstein's husband, Richard Blum, is a key shareholder. And Nancy, Pelosi's longtime chief of staff, are key executives of Dominion voting system. They were also reported in 2019 by Bloomberg Government of News website. In April, Bloomberg Government said that Diplosys, former chief of staff Nadim Al-Shami, is one of the lobbyists in Dominion. Or Shami is from a lobbying firm called Brunstein, Farber, Hyatt Shrek. Now the ties with Barack Obama is a lot more complicated, according to Dominion's website. In July of 2018, a company called Staples St. Capitals SSE, which is a private equity firm, acquired Dominion Voting on SSE's website. One of their shareholders has a key name. William Kennard. Kennard was the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC chair during Clinton's era. He was also the U.S. ambassador to EU. During Obama's era, he was also a policy advisor for the former Secretary of State John Kerry and the Carlyle Group's managing director, another private equity firm. Even now, Canada is still a member of the executive board at AT&T and Forward, and AT&T owns CNN, so Canada is involved in media, business, and politics. Who has important relationships with the higher-ups of the members of the Democratic Party? Now with Clinton, the Dominion ties don't end there, according to Dominion's communication manager Penelope Chester. Starr used to work in the Clintons' foundation. She also was the vice president of Teneo. So Teneo is a company that one of their main duty is organizing Hillary Clinton's overseas ventures, including organizing her speeches and such. On Clinton Foundation's website as early as 2014, Dominion promised to give money to one of the foundation's plans, and that plan was to provide newly formed democratic societies around the world voting machines and voting technologies. Dominion's ties to Democrats are also reflected in its employees' donations to the party. According to conservative media, the national polls 96% of its employees' contribution goes to Democrat candidates. These employees are involved in the entire process of software development, web engineering, production, and management, whereas in the last 6 years Dominion has only provided Republican candidates a total of $86.25. Now compare this to Twitter and Facebook, where the Media Research Center reported their donations to the Democratic Party being 98.99% and 91.68% respectively. Just as this alone, we see a deep connection. Now the second tight are with the Chinese Communist Party. This January, the CEO and co-founder of Dominion John Polace said during his statement to Congress and admitting that their products included parts from China, including LCD touchscreens, control boards and AI processors and more. Because the U.S. did not choose to produce these things in December of 2019, supply chain surveillance company, Intheros, published a report indicating that the current voting system used in the U.S., 1/5 of its parts come from Chinese suppliers in Dominion systems. About 59% of the parts come from companies that have businesses in Russia and in China. In fact, the law firm that stopped representing Trump in his legal battle in Pennsylvania's voter fraud situation, Porter Wright, had a lawyer by the name of Sonny Young who worked at the Pennsylvania office. She said in her bio that she represents the Chinese entities in U.S. businesses. Young also spoke at many KPI-related law events in China, and was praised for her efforts by the government. The firm also appears to have helped facilitate and outsource jobs to China by representing a U.S. company in negotiating certain investment agreements and supplier agreements with Chinese manufacturers. So they would represent Chinese companies and not represent President Trump. On that note, Trump revealed on Thursday that they're banning any American companies from investing in Chinese companies with ties to the military of China. According to this order, starting on January 11 of 2021, American investors can no longer purchase stocks from at least 31 Chinese companies. These companies were monitored earlier this year by the Defense Department as the spy military-supported companies. What does this list of 31 companies entail? China Telecom, China Mobile, Huawei, Qualcomm, China Air Industry, China World Road Construction Corporation, China Ship Corporation, Panda Tech, and so forth. So, because if you want to be successful to run your business in China, you need connections in the military. Now let's go back to what it means to have ties with the Dominion Voting Company. There is a defect in the system of the Dominion software. Trump's lawyer Powell thinks that the defect was intentional because they have parts from China, and the CPP has the strongest evidence to interfere with American elections. There's a possibility that there is ties to sway the U.S. election. Now, the third point is that we are all curious about voting fraud taking place in the Dominion system, which was revealed by whistleblowers and many calculations from experts. Melissa Caroni, contract worker at the company, came out and said that she was sent to Detroit to provide tech support for the systems. What she saw was a large number of poll walkers would repeatedly scan the same ballots 4 or 5 times, and she also saw workers filling ballots and make fake signatures. When Caroni told her superior, the response was that it was not our duty to watch poll workers, but you were provide tech support. We had previously mentioned that Dr. Shiva Agadu Ray, who worked on investigating ballot switches in Michigan, found a huge number of ballots switched from Trump to Biden. Sidney Powell actually thinks that voting fraud did not just happen with this election. She thinks that in 2016 Bernie Sanders lost the election to Hillary Clinton may possibly be due to internal fraud. Is there any truth to her thinking? I think there is. In fact, on the Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren's website, she and other federal lawmakers had investigated vulnerabilities in voting systems, including Dominion, back in 2019. According to their finding, the companies making vote machines have long skimped on security and in favor of convenience. According to another Democrat, former governor of Illinois Rod Blagojevich said during his Newsmax interview that fraudulent voting has occurred in Democrat-controlled cities for a very long time. When he tried to change it, he got removed from power. He said that this is a large systemic cheating scheme. If you thought that it was hard to believe there has been such a large front that took place this year, it is because they have never been caught doing it for so long. This election they thought with just software cheating that they could have beaten Trump, but little did they realize how many votes Trump would receive on election day. The game was such a large lead that just voting fraud softwares couldn't cover it, so they had to stop counting ballots after midnights in many states, so that they could bring in large amounts of million ballots to cover the difference between Trump and Biden. And with that I showed in this video. I hope you're enjoying the content so far. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss all of the latest changes happening in the US election anymore. Thanks for tuning in to Observe China. Good night.